Thomas Merton once stated that art enables us to find ourselves and lose ourselves at the same time. This is a perfect summarization of Uncharted 4, and in my opinion, the summation of art itself. Some people may qualm at my proposal that a video game could be listed as a work of art, and to that contention my response is as direct as possible. There are few things in life which live up to the monumental work and effort that goes into producing a high-quality video game. When you truly stop to think about the extreme effort and amalgamation of subjects which go into such a production, you can't help but to be awestruck at the outcome. A single video game employs almost every categorization of the arts and sciences: mathematics, physics, psychology, art, music, and storytelling. All of these subjects are built into a composite that for some people can be easily reduced as childish or juvenile in its preoccupation. For the rest of us keyboard warriors and controller conquistadors, we see it as something different entirely. The chance to live a different life, experience a situation far from home, and ultimately make choices in a simulated environment that does not have a real-world ramification. In Uncharted 4, A Thief's End, we are viscerally reminded of just how far we've come in the arts of cinematography and interactive animation. The story for this particular saga is, simply put, epic. There are a few telling variables which help us define this word, epic, but the predominant way in which I define this particular expression is in the way the story encompasses time, human emotion, and oftentimes, simply geography itself. Well, let's start off with the first qualifier, time. The story starts off with a flashback to a period where Nate and Sam are children. The story unfolds a relationship between the two brothers, solidly galvanized by the shared experience of struggle, loss, and hardships they've experienced at youth. Sam is the older brother, a runaway from the orphanage in which Nate is currently housed. The portrayal of their relationship is emotive and charming, the dialogue between the two brothers indicative of a very close connection shared between them from an early age. As they run the streets together, assisting each other in feats of parkour and creative clamoring, a history is slowly established. Missing father, dead mother, and a sense that they are alone in the world without the company of each other. It is soon revealed that they are looking for a missing item which belonged to their mother, leading to a pirate treasure. The scenery slowly fades to a time where both brothers are young adults, willingly incarcerated in a Panamanian prison in an effort to track down the location of their next clue, which might point them in the direction of their coveted treasure. They are then separated through means I won't spoil here, only to be reunited over 15 years later. Upon their reunion, the hunt for the lost pirate treasure starts anew and carries the brothers through a landscape of not only amazing geographical scenery, but an emotional scenery which leaves a lasting impression on the player. We are pulled through a series of breathtaking events, spanning continents and tropics, every moment filled with the sort of urgency which demarks these action-adventure game types. I am usually one for co-op styled games, but the one salient detail I noticed from the onset was just how engaging the partners you played with really were. There was a constant stream of dialogue which really evoked the feeling of companionship while you played the game. You never really feel alone as you adventure. Instead, you are always greeted by the colloquy that either reveals story-pertinent information or offers in-game suggestions which point to the area next to explore. There really isn't a whole lot of conversational filler, repeated slogans, or generic catch-alls to distract from the silence in this game. I will grant you that there are a couple segments where the action is limited and you're forced to do monotonous tasks in order to advance the storyline, but that's exactly what it is: advancement of the story. I never found myself resenting the game for its lack of constant stimulation, and I found the slower parts of the story really seemed to accentuate the rest in a dichotomous highlighting that served the overall feel of the game very appropriately. Immediately, I am brought to mind the scene where Nathan comes home after a long day at work. He goes up to the attic where he finds the detritus of another life cluttered around him. Old trophies, relics, and paraphernalia of his past adventures, relegated to an old dusty corner in the house, a place where useful dreams die in the shadow of old age. He fondly picks up and touches these items with the careful reminiscence of an old lover, clearly missing the excitement and adventure associated with these particular memories. In good humor, he grabs a Nerf gun and youthfully bounces around the room, shooting at paper targets hanging from the ceiling. "Still got it," he exclaims, that classic Drake exuberism coming forth in a warm burst of nostalgia. Later on, when he's home with his wife, she sees a certain distance in his countenance as she relays the particulars of her day and asks him in all seriousness, "Are you happy, Nathan?" A moment passes. Not a long one, but one which is fraught nevertheless with a certain sort of denial, perhaps only the viewer is aware of, but not Nathan himself. It's long enough to let us know he misses the adventure. He misses the excitement of possibilities and portent, the adrenaline of surviving horrors and coming out victorious. His wife sees all this as well, and the dialogue veers towards something lighter. A challenge is issued where Nate must beat his wife's high score on the PlayStation. A fond bit of our childhood is momentarily restored as we play Crash Bandicoot on the original PlayStation. This was a nice little Easter egg, one later enriched by actually playing a real-life version of the game as Nathan himself. I won't ruin the whole story for all of you watching, but the adventure is amazing, very masterfully executed, leaving me enjoying every bit of the game for the 3 days it took me to complete the title. I played it on the hardest difficulty, and would really like to say that it was a pleasant challenge. The combat was fun, requiring a lot of sneaking, climbing, and strategy to really clear an area effectively. The pace of the game never really felt forced or artificial in any sense, providing a consistent play experience till the very end. There are a lot of cutscenes, that's just something I'll put out there, and if you are a story-driven player who needs to know the who, why, where, and how, this could be a good thing. If you are more there for action and exploration, then this could be counted as a negative tick in that comparative column. Again, this game is cinematically driven, but I wouldn't write it off as a playable movie just yet. It can definitely feel that way due to the extreme artfulness of the script and Nolan North's exquisite performance as Drake, but it has far more playable elements than watchable ones, and overall feels very well balanced. Perhaps this was due to the difficulty in which I played, and maybe if you played it on easy, it could start to veer more towards a cinematic experience. But that is another great aspect of this title in my opinion. If you want to be challenged, you're in for a treat. If you want a playable, interactive movie-like experience, that option is also available. Uncharted 4 isn't quite open world, but more so open to explore, in the sense that you're capable of exploring a region and feel well rewarded for the effort, but the actual playthrough is linear, requiring the A-B conditions to be met before moving on to C. I've played a fair bit of the multiplayer, and it was very top-notch. Interesting mix of exploration, shooting, purchasing items, and using mysticals, an in-game super ability, so to speak, to bump your in-game effectiveness. I won't go on too much into the multiplayer since it felt more of an addendum to the game as opposed to something truly unique that would be capable of standing on the strength of its own merits, but it was very fun and an overall enjoyable experience. I should add that I've never played an Uncharted title in the past, so this point of view is a complete tabula rasa, or blank split slate, so to speak. I can't compare it to previous titles or thoroughly dissemble the plot of the story between the 4 games, so this is simply my analysis prima facie. Well guys, I hope this review helped you without giving away too much of the game itself. If you could find it in your cold, miserable hearts to give my channel a sub and the video a like, it would be much appreciated. My channel is new, growing, and hopefully with the help of all of you guys in the community, I'll be able to make a solid content for you all in the future. Also, if you have any questions or suggestions, leave them in the comments below. I respond to everyone and make a point to start a dialogue with you guys when you take the time to contribute. So here's to making new friends, and hope all of you guys have a wonderful day.